Hello. Looks like everything is working. Welcome to take two of the Score Editor Techniques, Tips, and Tricks webinar masterclass. I'm Peter Schwartz, and I'm going to be taking you through various aspects of the Score Editor. I'm going to be covering some of the same ground that I did in the previous webinar because we had some technical issues and I'm really not sure what people may have seen or what they haven't seen. So I'd like to start with talking about something that may seem a little mundane, but it's actually really important. When you start a new song, or even probably in your templates, chances are that the canvas, let's just call the size of the page that you see here a canvas. The size of the canvas is a default size that is based on, of all things, the actual paper size that you have set up to print. Now, when it comes to doing, actual score preparation, of course, you're going to want to select a paper size that's going to match the type of printout that you're ultimately going to need, whether it's a large size for a full score or regular page size for individual parts. But while you're composing, there's no real need to stick with this default paper size. As you can see here, at least in the US, it defaults to letter size 8.5 by 11. In the UK, it might default to 8.3. So let's just give ourselves a way bigger canvas to work, and we can do that by just selecting one of the larger paper sizes. For instance, tabloid. Now, tabloid is 11 by 17. Now again, this doesn't mean that we're going to print on that size, but watch what happens when I select it. All of a sudden, we have a lot more room on the page to work. So Logic's Score Editor is really all about customization and interpretation, which is something we'll get into later. But this is probably one of the very first things you'll want to customize. Again, even just for a production point of view, you can see that if the page size, now this is a pretty small, a short cue, it's only 6 or 7 measures. If my paper size, where is it, is the standard 8.5 by 11, then I have to navigate 2 pages to see the music. If I set it to tabloid, then all of a sudden I can see everything at once. You can see even more at once by going to the page setup and choosing the landscape mode. This is portrait mode. This is landscape mode. And now you can see everything in a different orientation. So again, this is one of the very first things I would suggest doing is changing the paper size. If you don't happen to have a preset tabloid paper size, you can just create your own. You can go here to Manage Custom Sizes. In fact, I'm just going to create a new one just for the heck of it. I'm going to make it like ridiculously large. I'm going to make it 20 by 20. And so now all of a sudden my canvas has grown quite a bit. So this is a really great way to just give yourself more space to work. I'm just going to bring this back to a sort of normal paper size. I think I'll keep it tabloid. Actually, you know what? I'll keep it letter for now because there's some other stuff I want to show you. While we're here, I want to show you how to eliminate the blank measures, the blank rests here that are happening before this pickup. Actually, I'll just play this little cue so you can hear what's going on. So one of the things that we're going to talk about in a minute is how to prevent this huge mess of a collision on the page. But what I really want to show you for the time being is just how to get rid of these pickup measures. So I'm just going to mute these tracks for a second. One moment, please. Okay. So the pickup rests here. You might be tempted to want to actually cut the region there, right on beat 6, but that's going to mess things up. There's a much better way to go about this, and that is simply to drag the left edge of the region to the point where you want the actual music to start. And as you can see, dragging the left edge has masked off the extra rests, and it starts right with the first note of the pickup. And one of the interesting things about Logic is that even if this note here was a little bit early and actually occurs before beat 6, this is in 6/4, by the way. If it occurred before beat 6, by shortening the left edge of the regions, that note will still play. And I'll just prove that here. So this is by far the most effective way to eliminate rests before a pickup. Now let's talk about that mess we saw a minute ago with all these other parts playing. I'm going to turn them on. Yeah, things get messy. We're going to fix this. So this mess you see here is a common problem that I've seen people, write about on forums, asking how is it that I can avoid these collisions of staves when I've got lots of parts. I'm going to go back to that. It's not sexy, it's not glamorous, but it's all about the paper size. You would expect that, and I'm going to select tabloid here, and again, by doing this, the idea is to expand the canvas that Logic gives you to display staves on. And bink, all of a sudden, everything fits on the page and there's no overlap. I'm just going to go over here and shorten all these guys so that they start in the same way. So now everybody has a pickup. And all of a sudden, no overlap. So as you can see, the paper size is a really sort of critical thing, not just to give yourself more space to view music on, but also just to prevent the very common occurrence of staves running off the page. And now we can see everything here. In fact, what I'm going to do is just expand this a little bit so we can see it on 2 pages. Now, a lot of this music looks messy, but that, again, is one of the things that the score editor can let us clean up without actually having to change the performance. Some notes are played early, some notes are played late. Okay, I'm just going to resize this window.